Hello coin lovers and treasure hunters. Welcome back to Old Charles, the place where every coin tells a story. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1965 United States Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin, a small piece of copper that has seen a big slice of history. We'll explore its fascinating background, design details, mintage numbers, and of course, its current value in different conditions. So, if you've got a 1965 penny in your pocket or coin jar, you might want to stick around, because it could be worth more than just 1 cent. Before we talk about the money side, let's travel back to 1965. This was the height of the Vietnam War. Lyndon B. Johnson was the President of the United States, and the Beatles were dominating the music charts. In the world of coins, 1965 was a very special year, not because of the penny's design, but because of a big change in the U.S. coinage system. The United States Mint was facing a massive coin shortage in the early 1960s.
Why?
Because silver prices were climbing, and people started hoarding coins made with precious metal. To solve this problem, the government removed silver from dimes and quarters starting in 1965, replacing it with a copper-nickel-clad composition. Now, while this change didn't directly affect the penny, which was already made mostly of copper, it still meant the mint was under pressure to produce millions of coins quickly to meet demand. That's why 1965 saw over 1.4 billion Lincoln Memorial pennies struck at the Philadelphia Mint. No mint mark was used at all that year, not even on coins from Denver or San Francisco, because the mint wanted to discourage coin collecting during the shortage. Let's talk about the design. The obverse, or front side, features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. Above his head, you'll see the words "In God We Trust." To the left, the word Liberty, and to the right, the date 1965. Reverse, or backside, displays the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to replace the wheat ears design. If you look closely under magnification, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a neat little detail that many people miss. Above it reads United States of America, just below that E pluribus unum, and at the bottom, the denomination 1 cent. The 1965 penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing exactly 3.11 grams. It measures 19 millimeters in diameter and has a smooth edge. Now, here's an interesting fact. The high copper content means that if you melted the coin down, the metal would be worth more than 1 cent. However, and this is important, melting down U.S. pennies for their metal value is illegal. Alright, let's get to what you've been waiting for. How much is a 1965 penny worth today? Most 1965 pennies you'll find in change are well worn. In average circulated condition, they're generally worth 1 to 3 cents to collectors. Not a fortune, but still above face value. If you find a coin that looks like it just came from the mint, sharp details, no wear, and original red luster, then you're looking at values between $1 and $10 depending on the grade. For pennies graded MS-65 red or higher by PCGS or NGC, prices can reach $20 to $50 or more, especially if the coin has full, bright red color with no spots or stains. While there are no official proofs for 1965, some coins show doubling in the lettering or date. These are called double die varieties and can be worth $50 to over $200 depending on rarity and demand. Collectors pay a premium for coins that have kept their full red copper color over the years, since copper tends to tone brown over time. If you want to check your 1965 penny's value, here's what you do. 1. Examine the color. Is it red, red-brown, or brown? Red is worth more. 2. Look for wear. High points like Lincoln's cheek and jawline will show wear first. 3. Check for errors. Doubling, off-center strikes, or die cracks can increase value. 4. Avoid cleaning your coin. Cleaning can scratch the surface and drastically lower value. Here are some quick fun facts about the 1965 penny. No mint marks were used that year. So even if yours doesn't have a P, it was made in Philadelphia. It's older than the moon landing, which happened in 1969. Over 1.4 billion were made, so finding one is easy, but finding one in pristine condition is much harder. So, the 1965 Lincoln Memorial penny might not make you instantly rich, but it's a coin with a story, a product of a time when the U.S. was changing its money system forever. Whether you keep it for history or for a small profit, it's a great addition to any collection. Let's rewind the clock to 1965, a year of political tension, technological progress, and major changes in the American coinage system. By the early 1960s, the United States Mint was facing an unexpected crisis, a severe coin shortage. This wasn't just because people were using more coins for vending machines, toll booths, and parking meters. It was also because the value of silver was rising on the global market. The dimes, quarters, and half dollars at that time contained 90% silver, and as silver prices increased, the metal content of those coins became worth more than their face value. People started pulling silver coins out of circulation, hoarding them for their metal value. This led to a shortage of change all over the country. Businesses complained, banks had trouble keeping coins in stock, and the U.S. Treasury had to act fast. In 1965, the Coinage Act was passed. This law removed silver from circulating dimes and quarters entirely, replacing it with a copper-nickel-clad composition. Half dollars were reduced from 90% silver to 40% silver. The goal was to stop hoarding and keep coins circulating. Now, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with the penny? Well, even though the Lincoln cent wasn't made of silver, the mint decided to make changes that affected all coins. One major change: no mint marks were used at all from 1965 to 1967. This applied to coins from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The reason? The mint wanted to discourage coin collecting during the shortage, thinking that removing mint marks would make coins less interesting to collect. Oh, the 1965 penny was struck only with the date. Noti for Denver, nos for San Francisco. Even coins from branch mints looked identical to those from Philadelphia. This was a big shift for collectors and is part of why 1965 pennies have a unique place in U.S. coin history. The penny itself kept its classic composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which it had since 1864. But because of the coin shortage and the mint's push to produce as many coins as possible, the mintage was huge. Over 1.4 billion Lincoln Memorial cents in 1965 alone. This was also just 6 years after the reverse design had changed from the wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959, commemorating the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln Memorial reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, was meant to symbolize national unity and respect for Lincoln's legacy. If you looked closely, you could even see a tiny engraving of the Lincoln statue inside the memorial, an incredible detail for such a small coin. Culturally, the year 1965 was a turning point for the U.S. The Vietnam War was escalating, President Lyndon B. Johnson was pushing his Great Society programs, civil rights marches were making headlines, and the space race with the Soviet Union was in full swing. Every 1965 penny that passed through the hands of Americans was part of this larger story, a silent witness to history. Because of its massive mintage and the lack of mint marks, most 1965 pennies were used and reused in everyday transactions. They bought candy for children, paid bus fares, and dropped into jukeboxes playing the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and Motown hits. Today, these coins are little copper time capsules, carrying with them the spirit of mid-1960s America. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. A 1965 penny can be worth just face value in poor shape or several dollars, even more, if it's in pristine condition. Let's break it down step by step, from the most common worn examples to the rare high-grade gems that collectors dream about. These are pennies that have been in circulation for decades and show heavy wear. Lincoln's hair and face are flat, and the details of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse are almost gone. The color is usually a dull brown, sometimes with dark spots, stains, or scratches. Value *** about 1 cent, maybe 2 cents if someone just wants it for copper content. These are the most common and hold little to no collector premium, and this grade, you can still see Lincoln's facial features and most of the lettering is sharp. The Lincoln Memorial is still visible but missing some of the fine lines in the pillars. The color is usually brown or red-brown, with small areas of the original red luster possibly peeking through. Value ** around 2 to 3 cents. These are better than worn-out pieces but still very common. Now we're talking. Coins in this range have light wear only on the highest points, Lincoln's cheekbone and jawline, and the top steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Most details are clear, and about 25% to 50% of the original red color might still be visible. Value ** around 5 to 10 cents. Still not a big jump, but a good choice for casual collectors who want something nicer than a pocket-worn example. These coins were probably only used for a short time before being saved. They have full details with only the slightest wear on the high points. You might notice just a touch of dullness on Lincoln's hair or on the memorial steps. The red color might cover 50% to 75% of the coin surface. These are uncirculated coins, meaning they never entered general circulation. They still have their original mint luster, but they may have small contact marks from other coins during the minting process. Color can be brown, red-brown, or full red. Coins in this grade are sharp, with bright, flashy red luster covering the entire coin. Contact marks are minimal and not distracting. Collectors prize these coins because they look almost perfect to the naked eye. Value *** around $5 to $20 depending on eye appeal and whether it's graded by PCGS or NGC. Now we're at the top tier. These coins are flawless to the naked eye, with strong strike details, vibrant red color, and full original luster. Only under magnification will you see a few tiny imperfections. Coins like this are rare, especially for 1965 because so many were mass-produced and poorly handled. While the 1965 penny doesn't have proof issues, it can be found with interesting mint errors. Doubled die ***, doubling in the date or lettering can fetch $50 to over $200. Off-center strikes ***, if a large portion of the design is missing due to misalignment. Prices can jump from $20 to $100. Die cracks or cuds ***, raised lines or blobs from damaged dies can also bring a premium from error. Collectors. When grading copper coins like the 1965 penny, color plays a huge role in value. Red ***, at least 95% of the surface has the original mint color. The most valuable RB, red-brown ***, between 5% and 95% red color, moderately valuable. BN, brown ***, less than 5% red color, lowest value tier. Collectors will often pay 2 to 3 times more for a coin in RD compared to an identical grade in BN. So, before you toss that 1965 penny into a change jar, take a moment to really look at it. The condition,